Hello and welcome to Boston Globe Today, an in-depth look at the people and stories that impact our communities. I'm Shaguna Duolo, and here's today's top story. Biden's approval ratings for a third-year president are the lowest since Carter. The incumbent is out on the trail making a case for a second term, while in Washington, Republican lawmakers are pushing back on key legislation. Jim Puzzanghera from our Washington bureau joins us with a look at Biden's challenges as the election year begins. Jim, how is President Biden trying to address concerns about his age and inability to get credit for his accomplishments?
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, Biden is amping up his travel. We've already seen that this month. He's trying to get out in the country more, both to try to sell his accomplishments and to project an image of vigor, that he is able to handle the rigors of the job at his age. And I actually had a story looking at his travel last year. And despite those criticisms, his travel stacked up comparably to Trump and Obama in their third-year presidency. So he's trying to get out of Washington and sell his accomplishments directly to the American people, and at the same time show that he has the stamina and the ability to handle this job for 4 more years.
One problem that's definitely had stamina: immigration is still a key 2024 election issue. How is President Biden walking that tightrope, and how is he faring on foreign policy?
Yeah, well, the immigration situation is a mess, both at the border and in Washington. There are historic numbers of migrants crossing the border. There's a bipartisan negotiation going on in the Senate to try to enhance this border security there. But that looks like it's falling apart, largely because President Trump, former President Trump, and a lot of hard-right conservatives in Congress don't want to give Biden a win on this issue. They'd rather have the problems continue at the border so that they can run on that in November. So Biden is trying to both encourage those negotiations and lay the groundwork for blaming Republicans if the deal falls through. And the question is, who are the American people going to blame? Immigration has risen to the top of the polls, a lot of polls, as a top concern for voters come this fall.
Yeah, immigration being this overarching how we deal with foreign countries. There's still no deal on Ukraine and tensions over policy in the Israel-Gaza war. How is the Biden administration going to deal with the way they look on foreign policy?
Yeah, great point. The immigration deal was designed in part to get that aid to Ukraine and Israel that Congress has been resistant to pass. And so if the deal falls apart, that aid disappears. That makes foreign policy even more difficult for Biden at a time when he's got a lot of challenges. He is trying to avoid the Israel-Hamas war from spreading into a broader conflict in the Middle East, and the attack in Jordan on the U.S. soldiers risks that. He is trying to shore up support both for Israel and Ukraine. He needs money to do that from Congress, and the conservatives, a lot of the Republicans, don't want to pass that. So he is trying to thread the needle there in an area that's supposed to be his strength, and foreign policy chaos could hurt him in November, because that's what he ran on in 2020, that he's a steady hand at foreign policy.
Much more information for us to follow as the weeks and months progress. Joining us from our Washington bureau, Jim Puzzanghera, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And that's today's top story. For updates and breaking news, go to bostonglobe.com.